we doing, America? Another Monday. Sorry to all y'all that had to actually go to a job today. Glad for you if you have one and it's one that's taking care of you. But it's still Monday. That means we got a long week ahead. I want to talk to you about a thing. This past Saturday, I had the distinct privilege of going to a rather large Democratic event here in Tennessee. Yeah, we have a Democratic Party here in Tennessee. And by the way, we have all 95 counties of this state now reorganized with a Democratic Party. You know who can't say that? The Republicans. They can't. I think there's a reason for it. I think America's beginning to wake up. I hope they're beginning to wake up. Starting to see things a little bit better. But a thing that was said to me by a fellow that I respect and have gotten to know a little bit within the party that really struck me was it had a lot to do with what's happening with rural America right now. And by the way, guys, if you don't know, I live in about as rural America as anybody can. Whole county's got about 6,500 people. The town of Spencer, Tennessee's got about 1,200 people. A lot of space in between people. Whole lot of farmland. Whole lot of cows. Whole lot of chickens. Whole lot of support for somebody that I'm tired of talking about. And that's kind of what I want to talk to you about. Because one of the things that happened at this dinner was a lot of the talk about the guy that is at the head of all of this and causing most of the problems. But we're spending way too much attention looking at him and focusing on him. Folks, if you don't know that he's a screw-up by now, I don't know what to say to you. If you don't realize that he's hurting you now, especially if you live in rural America, then I don't know what to say to you. I remember back when we were putting the whole Build Back Better, and we put together the COVID relief plan and put that money out there. A lot of that money went to red states, and people asked Joe Biden, well, what are you doing that for? They didn't vote for you. And he said, yeah, but they're the ones that need it the most. It's truth. And that money has, by the way, made a big difference, even right here in Van Buren County, Tennessee. A lot of that money, through grants and everything else, came to this county and did a lot of good here, and is still doing good here. Don't be looking for anything like that in the near future. It's not going to be there. But the thing that was said to me, and it really hit home, and that is that the rural poor voting for a Republican is like chickens voting for Colonel Sanders. It's pretty much what it is. And you want the proof of that? Let's take a look at the OBBB, or one big bag of bullshit. That, when you look at it closely, and folks, you're going to have to look at it closely real soon, because when that stuff starts kicking in, and he was strategic about that. He made sure that some of this isn't going to happen till after the midterms. Don't wait till then. Take a look at it now. You'll see what's coming. But rich people got the cuts as far as taxes and things like that. Real Americans didn't. They're, we're not going to put taxes on tips anymore. Well, that's only up to $25,000. Anybody that can live on $25,000 a year is really scraping by. And so then you go right back to that. The other thing about that is when you pull everything together and itemize and do all of that. People that make as little money as most tip workers do, that's not how they do it. Their deduction is really nothing. There's no real help there. Oh, we're not going to put that. Well, actually, they pulled those things out of the bill, too. The stuff that was going to be good for Social Security recipients, now they pulled that shit out. Oh, well, to heck with people like me. But rich people got a nice little cut. Nice little cut. They're gonna be wonderful for a long time. I've said this before. You were doing great before. Why do you need that much more? You can't spend all the money you've made now in 100 lifetimes. Oh, but you need more. And that's kind of what it's about. If you're voting for Republicans, you're voting for greedy people. Very greedy people. Now, on the other side, they're going to say if you vote for Democrats, you're voting for lazy people. That is a crock. The people that I know that have government assistance of any kind, or even people like myself, who are living basically off of Social Security. We're not lazy. We're not people that aren't putting in our fair share. And don't hand me that line of crap. And that's just what it is. It's a line of crap. Rich people got the cut. And on top of it, now, the people that are some of the poorest are terrified. By the way, we rely on migrant workers right here in this county. And that's who's getting hurt. And if you think that it stops there, it doesn't. If the people that rely on those migrant workers can't get those workers to come to work, do you think that the folks here that are used to making $25, $27 an hour are going to go take those $12 an hour jobs and fill them? No, they're not. Do you think that the Medicaid people are going to take them? No, they're not. Most of those people really can't work. Most of the Medicaid recipients that I know are either very, very poor, and it's a mother that's trying to feed little kids and everything else, and that's what they have for health care. Those are the people that are going to get hurt right here in the rural areas. That's where most of that comes from. But our dear Republican friends didn't feel that was, you know why they didn't feel that it was the thing, that it mattered all that much? They didn't read it. They didn't read about it. They just said, the guy said, we better pass it, or we're going to be primaried. Well, you know what? It's going to be really hard for some of you to swallow this. I am so looking forward to the American Party or the America First Party or whatever the heck Elon Musk is going to call it. I really want that. Because you know who's going to be splitting off those votes? There aren't a lot of Democrats that follow the man that think he's wonderful. Do the math on that one yourself. But let's be real. Real numbers show that 12 million people will likely lose their health care as the cuts to Medicaid are a full $1 trillion. Now, and if you think about it, we started at one place with the House, and the Senate made it even worse. And then the House just climbed right on board. Oh, yep. Senate did it. Senate's the ones that did it. Yeah, but that wasn't us. You got to vote for us next time. No, you don't. No, you don't. They screwed you over just the same way that the Senate screwed you over, just the same way that the guy at the top screwed you over right here in this county, in your rural county. You were screwed over by those people. If you're voting for them, your chicken is voting for Colonel Sanders. That's just that simple. They are going to hurt. They're not going to hurt you. They're going to kill you and eat you. But that's what they did. The largest percentage of people in the categories that are going to get hurt live in rural areas like I live in. They live in red states. Again, Joe Biden. Why did you give that much money to all those red states? Because they're the ones that needed it the most. And we are. We are. And if you don't see that, you're kind of blind. And you probably ought to open your eyes. The Congressional Budget Office says that money on that many people on the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, and for those of you that never really bothered to look. You may still be calling it Obamacare. The Affordable Care Act and Obamacare are the same thing, exactly the same thing. There isn't an Obamacare bill and an Affordable Care Act. No, no, no. The cuts are going to be hitting the Affordable Care Act. And a lot of those people that are utilizing the Affordable Care Act, they're talking about literally millions of people, are probably going to lose their coverage because the insurance companies are going to be pulling back from that. Look it up. Look at the numbers. Look at where cuts were made. Those insurance companies that are now a part of it are going to be saying, give me less places to go, less people eligible is going to be another part of it. There are going to be a bunch of cuts. You know where that affects the most? Right here, rural counties. We chickens voting for Colonel Sanders. My wife may very well be one of those people. I'm not exaggerating that. Her health coverage is through the Affordable Care Act. She may very well lose that health care coverage because it comes from one of the companies that will probably be the quickest to run away from it, United Healthcare. Just the reality. That's here in this very, very red county. All those medical cuts are going to lead to other things too. And that is the people will be going far less to the doctors. And translation there, those chickens that voted for Colonel Sanders are going to die because they're not going to go to the doctors. They're not going to get the health care that's needed. But that goes beyond that. They're going to be less prescriptions filled. Okay, all of that happens. Now what happens after that? Those industries then lay off workers. Some of this is just logic, folks. The numbers are there, but if you are a critical thinker and can follow through a little further than I like the way he talks. I like the things he's going to do. If you can follow that through just a little bit further, you're going to find out that, chickens, you voted for Colonel Sanders. It eliminates funding to Planned Parenthood. Just about cuts it to nothing. Well, those entities, they're the ones that still, in the states where they can, provide abortion services. Well, do you know who uses those services the most? Poor rural Americans. That's who's going to get hurt by this. Look at it closely. Think about what you did. Those same cuts. And this, I know this for a fact because, by the way, it's right here at home. A lot of rural hospitals are going to be closing. HCA, one of the biggest ones out there, and you know they're all about profit. Well, they've got a little hospital. It ain't much of one. But they got a little hospital down in Sparta, Tennessee, which is the closest bigger city to us. They're already talking about closing it. If you think that these things aren't real, then take a look at the reports coming from these big companies. It's happening. It's happening right now. Sparta Hospital, Highland something, is going to be closing. At least that is the reporting right now. Check where all of these hospitals are that are going to be cut, by the way. And check who uses them the most. It would be rural poor people, the chickens that voted for Colonel Sanders. SNAP cuts. That's a big one. $230 to $300 billion are the estimates. Again, who uses SNAP benefits the most? Think about it. It's not real hard. Rural America, right here. I see the lines at the food outreach programs already. I see how many people go in with their here EBT card. It's SNAP benefits. There's the start. We're going to cut those benefits. We're going to now really create some serious food insecurity. Hey, chickens that voted for Colonel Sanders, well, people ain't going to be able to afford you, by the way. That's going to happen. Again, domino effect from that. Now, you have these rural places we got right down the road, Save-A-Lot. It's an okay little grocery store chain here. Generally, overall, we're a food desert. But that's where folks here shop a lot. You take away the EBT benefits, goodbye Spencer Save-A-Lot. Oh well, chickens, you voted for Colonel Sanders. That's going to be the case all over rural America. That's who's going to get hurt the worst. Now, in all of that, the other thing that's going to happen that is in the bill, you have to look at this thing. It's 900 odd pages, maybe more than that, I don't know. But you have to take a look at it because beyond just the cuts to SNAP benefits, they are also they're administering this and passing it on to the states. What do you think states like this one, Tennessee, are going to do about that? Do you think they're going to put on more people to administer the program? If you think that, once again, hello chickens, you voted for Colonel Sanders. You do that all the time here in rural Tennessee. It's kind of crazy, but they're going to shift those administrative costs to the states, and they're going to be states like ours that just don't pick them up. They just aren't going to put on the people. If you thought it was hard to get your SNAP benefits before and you thought that there was quite a delay on that, wait till you see what you're walking into in these red rural states. It's going to be a nightmare. Another thing to consider is those cuts and what they're going to do to these places like Save-A-Lot. Even if they stay open, they're going to cut their workforce. It's going to happen. I have a Republican friend that likes to argue with me all the time on the national level. Yeah, well, Biden did this. Yeah, these people crossing the border. Yeah, all of these big picture things that have very little to do with right here. Stop deflecting. Let's talk about right here. But one of those things, as far as cutting those places, the EBT benefits, the SNAP benefits, if you will, it's going to mean that the places that do take these programs, well, they're going to have less business. And either they're going to close, or they're going to cut their workforce, or they're going to hold salaries where they are right now and not give people raises. That affects right here. Hey, chickens that voted for Colonel Sanders, it happens right here. It's going to happen with you. It's going to happen with your family. You are going to know, just like COVID. Everybody lost somebody. Well, you're going to lose a lot of people here too. Right here in rural America, right here in Van Buren County. We're going to have lower wages. We're going to have lower money available to businesses. But okay, here, let's make sure that these chickens vote for Colonel Sanders. But don't forget about the other thing that it does. For years, screaming about the deficit. Our deficit is too high. We can't afford this spending. These tax and spend Democrats. By the way, it's not the Democrats that have increased it as much. It's been the Republicans every time. Every time. Now, yes, there have been increases under Democrats as well. But the big increases, especially the last two huge ones, the biggest ones, even though Joe Biden made it through COVID, yeah, it increased the deficit. Not by what Donald Trump did and not by what this bill does. It's going to add at least another 3.3 and some say 4 trillion to the deficit that you chickens that voted for Colonel Sanders supposedly hate so much. A little critical thinking here, folks. Just a little. I thought you guys hated that. The bigger question to we here in these rural counties. Tell me your upside. Tell me how this is going to benefit you. I hear about all these things you can't stand. I heard all about you screaming and yelling, by God, we're finally going to see that Epstein list. We're going to find out those Democrats, they're a bunch of pedophiles. You know what? Now all of a sudden there is no Epstein list. Nobody was blackmailed in all of that. Yeah, but still, you chickens voted for Colonel Sanders. You know, you keep doing this, rural America. Rural America. Voting for Republicans is the same as chickens voting for Colonel Sanders. Now, rural America, wake up. Every single time we've had Democrats in charge, you have benefited. Every single time, rural America, even though we don't like the social issues on the national level, boy, we can't stand them gays, we can't stand all them Mexicans, we can't stand this, we can't stand that, sure can't stand them pedophiles and that Epstein dude, and that must have been Democrat. Every single time you voted for Democrats, you benefited. Rural America, wake up. You chickens stop voting for Colonel Sanders. All right, that's what I got today, America. I went through these numbers and it just kind of blew my mind. And it was frightening. But we have elections coming up. Thank God, we've got one right here in Tennessee real soon. I met all of the candidates that are running for the House of Representatives seat that was vacated by Representative Green, I think his name was. All I know is another MAGA supplicant until he finally said, I've had enough of this. Now I'm going into the private sector. That seat can be flipped. And I met the candidates. And there are a few of them in there that are incredible. And you know what? They care about you. They care about rural America. They care about backing this stuff up and doing something with it. If those people in the 7th Congressional District here in Tennessee vote for a Republican, you might as well just walk into Colonel Sanders and have him lop off your head and cook you up in that pressure cooker. Because that's what you're doing. It's on the local level too. Pay attention to it. When Democrats are in, rural America does well. Yeah, you don't like the social things. Close your nose a little bit. Forget about the social things that you don't like. And realize that Meemaw and Papa, your sister's kids, because she made a few just bad decisions. You have Democrats in there, they may still have their benefits. You have old people like me, I'm an old guy, that rely primarily on Social Security, I'm still going to have my benefits. You have people like my wife, who is now retired as well, but has to do the ACA. She's going to be able to keep her health care if we keep Democrats in there. It's not going to happen if we vote for Republicans. That's chickens voting for Colonel Sanders. Don't do it. You can help me. I want to, first of all, thank whoever it was. You sent me a message and said, could you please post your Amazon wish list? And I posted it and let her know where it was. And dadgum, if I can find the message that was sent to me. Sure enough, the other day, a box with 3 items in it that we really needed. That, by the way, we couldn't afford this month. Showed up. That was a big help. Thank you very much. I also have a person that in the course of the last few weeks, I guess we'd count it as last month, has become a little bit of a benefactor. Now, she's been around for a long time, and I've known her for a long time, but she likes the work I'm doing. Well, to help out, she's going to regularly help out. I could use that from some of you, too. There will be a link with this, with the Amazon wish list, as much as I don't like Amazon too, but a way that you can send a PayPal thing, or I can give you a Venmo link, or I can give you a Cash App link, or it can be a Zelle thing, whatever. If you can help, please help. But not just me. Help your Democratic candidates. Help your Democratic Party. Help the other people that are out there putting it on the line and using doggone low battery. You will definitely make a difference. You certainly do to me. And I love you for it. All right, America. You know what to do. Help as you can. But most of all, share this shit.